Hi guys, welcome back. So I know I haven't made a video in a while, but you know, I've been busy. So I am a student and it is my senior year, so you know, that gets kind of crazy. I'm sure all you students understand. So today's video is gonna be my first story time video. And the reason why I say it like that is because today I'm gonna be talking about the first time I was cheated on, okay? And this wasn't no basic like cheating on me type thing. Like this was really extreme, okay? Especially at the time, and you know, it being my first boyfriend and all of that, like, you know, it was pretty crazy, okay? And I'm crazy too, so you know, I didn't just let it go. So I'm gonna get into all of that. And but yeah, so basically when I was in high school, I was dating this guy. I'm not gonna say his name, and everyone knew about it. So if anyone knows me is watching this video, they're gonna know who I'm talking about. But I dated this guy for a really long time in high school. You know, it took up like most of my teen years. And he was my first boyfriend, and you know, my first real boyfriend, I would say. And he was really sweet at first, and you know, he did a lot of sweet things for me. It was just too much for us at the time. Like, our relationship was way too serious for it to be like in what, sophomore in high school, junior in high school. It was like way too serious. And the funny thing is, people like saw that we were so serious, and they said things like that, like, people made up all the crazy types of rumors about our relationship. Like, they were like, I heard some rumor, what was it about? It was like, oh, I heard that he had a helicopter and it came down at the football game and he proposed to you. I'm like, what? Mind you guys, I was like 15 at the time. First of all, he was 16, but where does a 16-year-old get the money and get the permission to freaking fly a helicopter in the middle of the game to propose to me? Like, where's this money coming from? But you know, it's high school, so whatever. So, you know, I really love this guy. Obviously, he's my first boyfriend, and we spent a lot of time together, like way too much time than high schoolers need to spend with each other. And basically, I had a best friend at the time. And, you know, we were really cool. Like, you know, we met that year, we shared lockers, like we clicked like just like that. So she was my best friend. You know how you call people your best friend in high school and it's like you barely know them. But yeah, she was my best friend. So we shared our lockers. I was the top and she was the bottom, something like that. And you know, I told her everything and she told me everything, and I just really trusted her. She was like the only girl that I could, like, you know, really trust, because like, you know how it gets when you're in a relationship and all your friends kind of don't want to hang out with you anymore, or they're just like, oh, well, you're too busy for your boyfriend. Like, that's kind of how it was. And she was the only one that wasn't like that. Like, she didn't care like if she was a third wheel. And ladies, that's what you need to watch out. You need to question that a little bit. Like, why do you want to be around me and my man all the time? Like, anyways, so I know it sounds crazy, but I was waiting for them at lunch. Like, normally I would wait and sit there and be like, okay, let me wait for my boyfriend, let me wait for my best friend before I like go get my food and sit down. But you know, one day, like, you know, some days like he'll be late, some days she'll be late, like just how long it takes to walk to the cafeteria. So one day I'm just waiting there and they're both late, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, where are they at? Where are my favorite people in the world at? Like, why are they taking so long? So they both came late, and later I come to find out that they were together, like not with me. So I was like, oh hell no. But let me look, I'm going a little bit too fast. So basically how I found out was my boyfriend started feeling guilty as hell because yes, they were like messing around in our little spot that we used to go and like cuddle and be like little teenagers. But my boyfriend told me one day when he was at my house, we were just like, you know, laying in my bed and like watching TV or whatever, like just chilling. And then he was like, oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know, blank, I'm not gonna say her name, she sent me her titties. And I'm like, why the hell would she send you her titties? Like, that's random as hell. First of all, I'm not stupid. No girl's just gonna send somebody their titties just like, hey, here's my titties. Like, well, at least in high school, like, here's my titties. Like, I'm not asking for nothing. I just want you to see my titties just for the hell of it. Like, no one does that. So I was like, this guy thinks I am stupid. So basically, I, like, already in the back of my head, I'm like, he lying. Like, she doesn't. I'm like, well, why did she send them to you? And at that moment, like, my heart dropped, because I'm like, oh my god, like, I know something's going on. Like, this is like the worst thing that could ever happen. I was just at her house like the other day. So basically, after he told me that, I confronted her. I was like, I went to her to school the next day. I was like, why did you send him your titties? And he was like, and she said, she was like, just to let you know, it wasn't all me. And she walked away. I'm like, the fuck? It wasn't all you? What you mean it wasn't all you? Like, okay, so at that point, I'm like, I'm done. Like, this is stupid. Like, I'm done with these people. So I went to my locker. I took all her shit out of my locker, threw it all on the floor. I, like, had it all over the hallways, like, being my crazy self. So I was like, no, this is my locker that is assigned to my name. So her stuff is about to be gone. So, you know, it was like my little way of putting her out. So I had all her stuff all over the hallways, and then whenever she saw it, it was like some big thing or whatever. My little investigation and all my little sneaky ways, and I went into his, I hacked into his Skype, because I'm like, she must have sent it through Skype, because like back then, that's whenever Skype was popping. So I went ahead and hacked into his Skype, and I saw their messages, and it was like hella messages. I'm like, first of all, why is he Skyping her? Second of all, what? Like, why are they talking? Like, what the hell? So I went through their messages. He was talking all the stuff like, oh my god, like, Lexi gets on my nerves and blah blah blah. I'm like, you ain't never told me that. So why didn't you say that to me? So basically, saying like all this reckless stuff, like trying to look cool or whatever. So eventually I started telling everybody that morning. I was like, oh, I'm gonna break up with him tomorrow, but the first day I knew, I didn't do anything about it. The next day I went and I like treated him like a king. I was like, you're just so amazing. Like, you're the best boyfriend I've ever had in my life. Like, you're just so great. Knowing that I was gonna break up with him and knowing what he said, he was just like, yeah, that's why you should trust me. Like, this is why you need to stop like worrying about other people, like all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I need to stop worrying about other people, because, you know, you're just so amazing. And he really thought I was being serious. So, you know, I kind of let it go around that I was gonna break up with him, and everyone knew but him. So the next day in the morning, I decided that's whenever I brought the copies or whatever. So I went to school, and like at this moment, people were like walking past, like waiting to see if I was like gonna break up with him yet. And we were at my locker, and then and I was like, I don't remember, but he was like so happy or whatever. So I like gave him this like huge kiss, right? I like gave him a kiss like, oh my god, like I love you so much. And then I pulled out the papers and I started reading. Their conversation. Oh yeah, Lexi's so annoying. Oh yeah, I want to call you Miss blah blah blah. Oh, blah blah blah. And he started crying. He literally started crying. He ripped it up, like I said, pulled out the other copy, finished reading, and he was going crazy. And like people were walking past and they were like, ooh, ooh. So let me tell you guys. So the rest of the day, he followed me everywhere around school. Like, I don't even think he went to his classes. I don't even know how this was possible in high school. But he was like standing outside my classes, like looking in the doors, like crying, like saying like, please come back, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nope, nope, no, 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 no. And then whenever it was lunchtime, he came like in the lunchroom and like sat next to me, and he was just like so devastated. He was just like, please, like, he's like, I don't want anybody else. Like, I didn't want to do this. He's like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do all this stuff. He's like, I just want you. And I'm like, you should have thought about that. No, no. And then I remember him telling our track coach like how sad he was, and of course he was like, if you love her, fight for her. And I'll never forget the time where we were all at the cafeteria when he was like trying to beg for me back, like doing all this extra stuff. It was the football team or track team, whatever, they always like sat behind us, and I told like one of like our homies what happened, and he had the papers, right? He had like the printout, bring out the evidence, bring out the evidence, and he was in the background like while he's crying, like these are like supposedly his homies talking about, bring out the evidence, bring out the evidence, bring out the evidence. Like, it was just so dramatic. Like, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work, okay? Like, me, it was so hard because not only did I lose my boyfriend, I also lost my best friend at that time. But the funny thing is, I wasn't even worried about her. I was worried about him. Like, friends come and go, okay? Like, he was my man. Like, I spent so much time with him, and when that happened, it was just like, really? Like, you gonna do me dirty like that? Like, it was messed up. But anyways, I learned my lesson from that whole experience, and you know, she tried to apologize to me later on some, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. Girl, bye. Anyways, so that did change like how I, you know, trusted guys in relationships, and I shouldn't have let it, but honestly, it just made me have my guard up, because you really can't trust nobody. Like, you think these girls are like your best friends, but they're gonna go behind your back. Like, these girls are not like most girls aren't like me. Like, I could honestly sit here and be like, oh my god, I'm a great friend. Like, I really am. Like, I will never try to get at your man. Like, if you need me, I'll be there. Like, it's just, I'm there for you type of thing. But you know, sometimes you don't get that from people, and we really need to stop giving efforts to people who don't give it back. And at the end of the day, like, you can't expect this to happen. So, I mean, I don't know. It was a good lesson learned, and I'm kind of happy I went through it, because I know what it's like. Like, I know, like, not to trust people from the beginning, because, you know, some people are just so vulnerable, and they just let anybody hurt them over and over and over again. And after that, like, I was just like, oh my god, like, how could they do this to me? Like, what did I do to deserve this? Like, it was just so upsetting. I was just like, really? And then, but, you know, eventually I got over it, and that was that. So that was my getting cheated on experience, and it was just way too much for life for me at that time. And that's whenever I started my crazy investigation stuff. So now people know you can't get nothing past me. Nothing. If you think you can get away with like being slick with me, like, you're never, like, I always find out. Seriously, always. So that really just taught me that you need to just be on your game. You need to know what's going on. You need to figure out it for yourself, and not listen to, oh, he said this, she said, no. I'm not about to sit here and believe that she just sent you your titties, her titties, for nothing. Because she didn't. He asked for it. That's what Skype said. Hey, send me a picture of your titties. Anyways, so guys, just be super careful out there. Like, people are dirty nowadays, and you can't really trust anyone unless it's like your ride or die from day one. So okay, so don't forget to subscribe if you've not already, and thumbs up this video if you've been through some crazy stuff in relationships. And feel free to comment below like your experience, like if it's worse than mine, like maybe make me feel better about it. Bye guys, love you.